So this handout specifically goes over the homeless youth numbers. How many homeless students we have in ABC Unified School District. And it's important to clarify that it's not 10% of total students that are homeless, because 10% would be roughly 2,000. It's that we've gone up 10%, just like everywhere else. Homelessness has gone up in our school district. And that's not to say, oh, well, you heard that. We don't have 2,000 students that are homeless. That's good. That's a good thing. But it's going up. So how do we mitigate that? One thing that hasn't gone up is the funding. So let's start there, okay? I want to paint a picture for you guys because I haven't been able to be at the last 2 meetings. I was at the last council meeting, but I was not at the last 2 homeless town hall meetings. Started July 31st, where I was able to let you guys know that we spend $10,000 a year for 20,000 students district-wide to fight homelessness. Lots of things have changed. Gas has gone up. Housing has gone up. Everything else has gone up. We spend $10,000 a year. I think you can guess how quickly we go through that. So how do we do it? We refer out to community organizations. We have a very strong partnership with other organizations, but frankly, the ones that we refer out to, if we're lucky enough to refer out to and get spots, for the most part are full, and so they'll send them back. For every one that we get in to, say, maybe a shelter or into a program to help them with assistance or transportation, there are several others that don't get in. And I'd like to tell you what those numbers are, but I have no way of knowing because we can't track them, because we couldn't get them in. Not only that, but there's also a stigma and a shame factor. So many people don't want to admit that they're experiencing homelessness. During that meeting, I also informed the council that I was not consulted as your trustee in putting the homelessness plan together. We collaborate to the point where our staff is on a first name basis with the city staff, and Linda Zuniga does a great job. They collaborate very closely. We work very closely as a district with the city of Hawaiian Gardens. It's a friendship, right? They work for the betterment of our students and our families. However, that's separate. The Homeless Coalition is separate from putting together a plan for Measure H funds. And at that meeting, if you review the tape, I mentioned that I and our SPA 7 liaisons were not contacted. And I verified that today with our Safe Schools social worker. And who the SPA 7 liaison should be, well, we don't have one. Her name was Terry Villa McDowell, and she stopped working for the district about 2 years ago. But that's okay, because now we're here. You've reached out to us. We're grateful to be working with the city. And frankly, with all of the rhetoric that's been going on, not just nationally, but locally, one thing, and I brought this up at our last board meeting, one thing still unites us as a city, unanimously, unites this council, and that's our children. All 5 of these council members voted to help our students who are experiencing homelessness. And that's something that, just to consider it, the effort itself is noble. And as your trustee, I can't tell you how honored I am, because not only are we the only city in our district that's even talking about this, but frankly, there's no other city that's working or even talking to a school district in the county, if not even the state, about how to address homelessness right now, which is an epidemic. So say what you want about one candidate or another, or one council member or another, but they stepped up and they're working with your trustee in your district to address this. So that said, I'm proud to be working with the city and to be working with our amazing staff. It was also brought up with regards to whether or not we have the resources, whether or not we have the staff, whether or not right now what we provide is adequate or sufficient. Well, if we had more money, it would be more than adequate. It would be more than sufficient. But let me talk about what we do provide. And this can be referenced on October 16th by Dr. Tina Porter, which is the first meeting that the district was able to be at and to be able to present at, because we weren't at the first one. So Dr. Porter mentioned that by law, the school district is charged by law, whether we have the funding or not, but we are charged by law. We have to remove barriers to a student's enrollment, attendance, or academic success. So if a student is homeless and they're not able to enroll in a school, they're not able to attend, they're not able to achieve academic success, we have to step in. So what does that look like? And she went into in detail. Well, mom, dad, students are living in a car, an RV. They're hopping from house to house, living in a garage with their families. They go from living on 226th and Juan to now, well, Uncle Joey, who lives in, Artesia, will let us crash on his couch. So instead of going to Ferguson, now they have to go to Willow. The next day, if they're living at Willow, we pull out all the stops. They're enrolled at Willow. The rest of the paperwork, everything else, we'll handle it afterwards. That kid has to be at Willow. They cannot miss a day of instruction. By law, we're charged with that enrollment. That is not an easy task. Try putting together what you need just, to go to the DMV or to file your taxes, let alone to securely transport a homeless student's information from one school site to the other so he or she doesn't miss a day of school. Not only that, they have to be fed. They have to have access to tutoring. They have to be able to perform at school and stay awake. Not to mention be bathed, have clean clothes. If they're in elementary, nobody wants to sit next to a student who hasn't bathed in days. At least no school-age children, right? And I think it's really important to point out that as I've been watching the meetings, there's a lot of talk about transient population. Well, they're coming from over here, they're coming from over there. These are students and families that are right in our own community, right in our district. They're not transient. And a majority of our population that we serve that are experiencing homelessness are recently experiencing homelessness. It's because of a family crisis. It's because of an emergency. It's because they're cutting back hours. It's because mom got laid off. It's because dad got sick. It's because of normal things that happen to normal working class people. And I don't have to name names because you in your head, as I'm saying this, are already thinking about families in our own city, in our own community, in the last year or so even, that our school district has helped. And I know because I was one of the people that you called. Hey, well, they have a student here, but they can live over here because, yeah, okay. Vouchers, access to food. Okay, well, but they're registered here. Don't worry about it. Well, but they can't, don't worry about it. We'll transfer them. That's what we're charged with, so we'll do it. And trust me, if we don't, if they don't do that, what they're charged with, they'll have to answer to me. And I think that's worked out pretty well for those folks so far. So that's what we have to do. But then we have to identify those kids who are experiencing homelessness. Because once we identify who they are, we can look at those barriers and be like, okay, they're moving, so we have to let that school know, hey, by the way, this kid is a priority. End of story, they're a priority. And so we react appropriately. That was Dr. Porter's first part. We prioritize supplies. Backpacks, very important. We can't just give them regular backpacks. We used to go buy them by the pallet in bulk. We can't do that anymore because students know, oh, those are the cheapy $5 wholesale backpacks that fall apart after a month. Oh, what are you, poor? So we got more creative. They're still cheapy backpacks, but they look nicer. And so we prioritize those. And then we prioritize counseling, groups, individuals, housing support, transportation. And these are just patches, right? This is just, okay, immediate, survive, just one more day. I just need to get through the day. I just need to get through the week. I just need to get through the month. I need a break. I need for something to change. We need to go from survive to thrive. For too long, our district has been helping people just to survive because that's all we can do. To give you an example, last year, Tina Porter and Kendall and their whole department didn't do a Secret Santa program. Instead, the $20 that they would have used for a Secret Santa, they put into a pot. And they used that for hotel or motel vouchers for homeless students during the holidays. That's the caliber of people that you have at our district. You have experts in their field who can go anywhere in the public sector, a few have, and get paid way more than what we pay them, but they wouldn't go anywhere else because they want to be here. They want to be serving you. They want to be serving our community. And they're advocates. They offer counseling, and frankly, they offer an ear to listen, a shoulder to cry on. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not an expert when it comes to homelessness. I'm not. And listening to them, I'm like, why is it so complicated? Well, because we're humans and we're complicated. No two people are alike. I'm learning that. But with what was proposed, and we've already begun talking and seeing what we can do, there really can be a shift from survive to something that's not just a patch, kicking the can down the road. Okay, well, we helped this many students get to school, but we're out of money. The rest are just going to have to walk. Now it's, well, maybe we can help them build themselves up with amazing oversight. Our district knows how to stretch a dollar like you would not believe. Why? Because we've had to. Takes me back to growing up. My mom can feed a family of 5 on less than $10. To this day even, right? Some ground beef, some canned vegetables, and some tortillas, bam, we're good to go. And I wouldn't know the difference. So we can do this. So that was, I'm not done yet, sorry. Oh, sorry, I thought you were like, that was the 16th. So one particular thing that I have to address, because with us and our district, we're very proud about what we do. We do much more than just feed them. We're offering nutrition. Kendall Fujioka, who's the young lady who spoke after Dr. Porter, mentioned the whole body, the holistic approach of the person. Not just grades, but a well-rounded person. They need nutrition, they need to eat right. We can't just give them hot Cheetos and Diet Coke or Coke. They need to eat right. So we don't just give them a free breakfast and a free lunch. We give them nutrition. We teach them how to eat. Ask Dr. Alexander, he'll tell you all about that. We don't just give them a backpack, we give them a sense of pride and dignity, which every person, rich, poor, old, young, skinny, fat, like me, is equal in dignity and worth. And in our district, every single person, every single student is equal in dignity and worth. And that's the approach that we take. So we might not have much. We might not have more than $10,000, but we find a way to make it work. And it's our hope that in working with the city and continuing to talk about what we can do, we can really pioneer a program here that'll be a model, not just here locally, the county level, but who knows, maybe even bigger. Because that's what ABC is known for doing. And to think, you are the only city that's doing this, not one other city. And I'll leave you with this. Since I was elected, not because of me or because, again, I'm not the expert in most of these fields. I'm just the driver for what you guys put out there. What you invest in our students comes back. And I've had to tell this over and over and over again to all of our trustees from other cities. Well, Hawaiian Gardens, you guys don't have the STEM resources like we do at this school. Really? Then why did we beat you in the STEM Olympics last year? Why did we get first place at Hawaiian Elementary? You guys didn't even place. That's my trustee area. What about yours? Well, yeah, but I mean, that's one off. Really? What about FETI, History Day? So many trophies. I think we need to pass a bond just to be able to build a new shelving for his wall for all of his History Day trophies. People don't understand what a jewel we are, but we're starting to show them. Not just in our achievements and accomplishments academically, which we knew we were capable of, but now more than ever, who we are with our character, our personality, which frankly for me matters much more than any A, B, C, D, E, F, or G that they want to throw at us. So thank you very much for having me. I would encourage you to please look at this because these are statistics, how many homeless students we have by school, zip code, and city. My name is Chris Apodaca. If you have questions, don't ask me, ask your city manager. I'm tired, but I'm glad I could be here. And remember, we really, really can make a huge difference here. And whether it's this council or the next, at the end of the day, remember what unites us. And I'll say it proudly, it's great to see it come out, our city's slogan, our city's logo. We're not just saying it, we're actually living it, right? Our youth, our future. It's great. Thank you. Have a good night.